It's about 6:30 on Tuesday evening and 1 week to go. And sometimes people wind up telling you that there'll be days like these. I just didn't quite expect quite so many. Some of the things that I've heard about what the inspectors have said just beg a belief, to be perfectly honest, about what are the teachers going to do about the pigeons that are landing in the playground. Not an exaggeration. And as I've driven over here towards Hull, when I got here, just as I'd sort of pulled the car in, I got a message from my agent, who is absolutely fantastic, really worked extremely hard, saying that when I was being observed last week, when they had the film crew in, it seemed that all I was doing was teaching. This is me angry, by the way. I don't know what they anticipate that I was going to be doing. I know that it's part of, but not every single day can be filled with flashbang wallop guitar playing, instantaneously writing poems, doing a play and dancing up and down in the yard. The children need to have some background knowledge. The idea was that we would instill them with ideas about how you write instructional language, and the way that we did it, rather than keeping it very boring, if I can use that word, was to get them to walk up and down the yard, to consider each and every move that they make, that I took a video of outside and then they had to look at it and discuss it. And these are children who had very poor concentration skills. And the idea was that we would write stories that would include instructions. So the whole idea is you need to know the tune before you can improvise on it. So I've been asked if the film crew can come back in, but this time if I were to do a few more singing and making up of poems at the time. That's the phone. So it's been good in that respect. Yeah. Yes, I was busy yesterday as well, and I mean the work that they came up with then was equally as good, you know, very mature, because they're like slightly older. So I said, well, in that case, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you put it down on paper and you write your stories down. You sort of think, you know, what am I doing if you're not going to write? how am I going to be able to sort of show that, you know, you're making progress? So, you know, it took a lot longer than we thought it would take, but I mean, we still got some good work out of them. So we basically made up a play about the mountain and the rocks and the girl and all the rest of it. So they actually acted it out. Who said that I was being observed? You know, like that, I don't know if I mentioned that they were filming what I was doing. No, really. I just kind of like, I just let my feelings be known to her. I just said, like, you know, how ridiculous. She's got no idea what these children are like. You know, oh, I was livid, but I'm not now. Oh, no. Writing a poem every 10 seconds, but I don't know. That's an end to it. I've had enough. Had enough of the paperwork and all the rest of it. So I parked in this garage foyer, you know, like a supermarket kind of garage, and I got clamped. Yeah. 125 quid to release it. But I've looked it up on the internet and apparently it's very common. It's just the way that they work. They wind up putting like small signs which aren't huge, and they say that they're going to change the law, but that's too late for me. But anyway, so I was, if nothing else, I was livid. I was livid to start with. I've just watched some of that back just to see where I was up to, and I've got to be honest, I don't look quite as cheesed off as I really feel, because I'm not surprised by any of this. That seems like a terrible thing to say, but I'm not surprised by people sitting and making judgments on a short portion of an 18-week course. So there it goes. One of the things that happened was when I was going out to get some envelopes and to clean all of the bird muck off the front of the car, I put it in the forecourt of a garage on Wimslow Road, the Total Garage. I don't mind naming names. And I was no longer there than as long as it takes to cross a road, and I was wheel clamped. And I was quite indignant, especially since I dashed out in the dinner time to make sure I could get an envelope to send copies of the DVD to the schools that I worked with last week. and I've looked on the internet and apparently it's completely legitimate. So £125 fine for 3 minutes and 4 envelopes. That makes those envelopes extremely expensive. Although there is a good thing to this, because I did buy a lead that is making my very expensive microphone work. So instead of paying £400 to have a new microphone, a £1.99 lead that makes this good microphone work. It was all worth it. So, getting back to the job in hand, the children over the last 2 days have produced some absolutely fantastic work. With the Year 4-5s, it's mature, it's in paragraphs, it makes sense, it is logically written, it has got everything that a story could possibly need inside of it. One of the things that's been done today, especially with the Year 3-4 class, was in collaboration with the teacher, we designed almost an instructional booklet on how to write an adventure story. All of the things that it needs to have inside of it, with some exciting verbs and some powerful adjectives that you would use to make sure that the story rolled along. The story took a long time. I won't deny it. It took a long time today with the Year 3-4s, and I did wind up having a bit of a heart-to-heart with the children, saying, do you want to do well? You need to produce more work. You need to make sure that you write all of your thoughts inside of your head and make sure they go down on the piece of paper in front of you. It's a bit like saying to someone, I'm going to give you a slap-up meal, and you give them half a sausage. I felt a bit bad afterwards, after I'd said this, that they weren't producing enough work. So we set them a deadline and said they had 30 minutes in which to write the majority of the story. Some of the children in that time who have never produced independent work produced some of the best work that they've done. It makes the comment about all I was doing was teaching seem all the harder to take. I'm not indestructible, I'm not superhuman, but what I do is of worth, and I object to somebody making a cursory judgment of me on a short portion of that. But tomorrow I'm going to be working with very, very young children, and I've decided that within this video diary I've done everything on a daily basis. Over the next 3 days I'm going to be in 3 different locations, each day working with 4 separate sets of children. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a conglomerate editing of all of the things that I do and make it into one long DVD that I will use to show the kind of work that I do with very young children. I might even sell some, but knowing me, I'm more than likely to give them away. But I'm really looking forward to it. No preparation, it's all in there. No making up of songs, it's all in there. Nobody judging me, so it'll all be there. It's very easy to make the focus of your day all of the negative things that might have happened, the fact that the car was clamped, the fact that somebody had made a prejudgment of me without reading any of the journals or any of the paperwork that I'd done. It's very difficult not to try and focus on these things. So what I tend to do is I tend to try and distract myself by playing solitaire and playing different games on the different computer games that I've got with me, or watching a bit of With Neil and I, just to try and distract myself.
What we need is harmony, fresh air, stuff like that. Wasn't much in the tube.